All right. Hi, everyone. Good morning and good afternoon for wherever you are in the world. Welcome and thank you so much for joining us today for this presentation around the state of the conversation. And we're truly excited to talk about how brands can really use consumer conversations to drive some business outcomes. So just some introductions to kick things off. I'm Cara Biscaglia, and I'm the Chief Innovation and Insights Officer at Talkwalker. As we all know, digital is continuously evolving with mobile apps, phones, AI, and it's really about putting consumers in control and giving them an amplified voice. I think now more than ever, consumers know what they want, and they know they can get it when they want, within the hour or max 2 days within Prime shipping, or they move on to the next brand that can do that. With this comes an activated consumer voice, or what truly creates millions of conversations everywhere. These conversations are inside and outside your organization, online and offline, in so many different channels and formats. From an online perspective, it's social, blogs, and forums. From offline, it's websites, surveys, call centers, emails, wearable technology, and so much more. And with all of this becomes a heightened emphasis on consumer demands constantly evolving. And it becomes more and more imperative and challenging to execute and operationalize these conversations at scale across your organization to truly break down the silos and become more customer centric. I truly believe at Talkwalker, our conversational intelligence platform leverages AI to unify all of these conversations and contextualize them online and offline and at scale. And we really have the ability to combine this unstructured data with structured data to really achieve a holistic view by understanding consumer behavior and creating impactful personalized messages that drive revenue by activating that voice of the customer. So as you can see, there's a big importance on understanding these conversations. So actually, we decided to create what we're calling the State of Conversations report. Our goal of this report was to understand how brands are monitoring all these conversations from these various different sources. And we wanted to make sure that these different companies and understand how they're extracting the value out of this type of data and what kind of level of maturity that comes with that. So some of the things that we did, we actually went out there and surveyed over 1,000 respondents, ranging from CEOs to marketers to customer experience professionals to market research professionals, and so much more. And this report really includes various different insights across the different industries and looks at the past 12 months and across 5 different industries. So I'm going to go over just some of these quick top level insights from this report, and then we're going to dive into the panel conversation with Forrester and Kraft Heinz. So I think we can all agree that this last year has been filled with ups and downs. And what has truly been brought to the forefront of this global pandemic is that it has changed the way that brands and consumers are interacting with each other, their expectations from both sides. Our survey uncovered that actually 82% of these industry professionals believed that since the pandemic, this has changed their understanding of consumer conversations. I think we can all agree that maybe we're spending a little too much time on social, whether it's just observing or part of the conversations. There's been new up and coming platforms that have emerged, from TikTok to now the up and coming Clubhouse that is out there. And now, in order to survive and to survive this shift, these companies, in order to stay ahead and put customers at the forefront, really need to rely on intelligence from consumer conversations to adapt to this new normal. Based on this catalyst, we actually came up with 4 main pillars or key insights about conversations that happened in 2020 that you can leverage in your 2021 strategy. And so one of the key takeaways was humanizing customer engagements to optimize customer experiences. So I think we can all agree that, as I stated before, these conversations have really been boosted as of recently. Now more than ever, I think it's so important that we mix AI and customers and human components together to create more humanized experience, and stop thinking of just this as these conversations as data points, but more as ways to truly understand that voice of the customer, to really engage with them and improve their customer experience, or you'll fall behind. The second key takeaway that I just want to emphasize is really around how we can leverage technology and digital and the transformation that is happening. It's such a must now to be able to adapt to this new normal. So many of our survey respondents reported that brand, market, and consumer intelligence were at their top priority list in order to focus. But what they really focused on is how do they deal with that brand maturity? How do you take that digital transformation and technology and AI and be successful and be more effective and efficient with your processes and workflows to drive outcomes? And it's really about unifying these conversations and realizing that they all are related to each other, and they can't just live within silos any longer. And you need to be thinking about this as one unified voice of the customer voice. The third key takeaway, and we can all agree that we just need to be faster with our speeds to insights. 1 minute, especially with all these consumer demands changing, especially around heightened emphasis on different sustainability elements, political factors, on top of just the day-to-day of dealing with your brand from a customer service perspective. In fact, 50% of respondents confirmed in this report that they didn't have that these insights from customer conversations are actually very limited to specific departments. What that tells us is they're not really unifying that voice and making strategic questions, which is creating a lot of inefficiency issues and a lack of being able to communicate and drive personalized messages that are going to increase your revenue goals and your key targets. The final component is around the fourth key takeaway that we really wanted to focus on was, more than ever, customers are calling the shot. They're in the front seat at this point, and I think they were in the driver's seat a little bit before, but now it's even more emphasized that consumers are calling the shot. They're calling the shot on trends. They are driving viral conversations about your brand, and they're going to be your biggest threats and your biggest advocates and resources to leverage. They're extenuations of your brand that you need to leverage. So you need to hear that voice, and you need to demonstrate that you are putting that customer voice first. And I think direct to consumer brands were really leading the charge in this, and it's really forcing more established brands to become more customer obsessed and really understand that voice of the customer in real time. So quickly, just to go over some insights from that report, I think, just even going off of that third key takeaway that I talked about, which was understanding how speed to insights is so crucial. And I think 50% of our respondents really are talking about the need to have access to these insights, and how these conversations are limited by different departments and the different siloed tools that they have. This tells us that companies must work towards data democratization. They must have easy to use technologies that truly make their life easier and help automate manual tasks to create more efficiencies. When we dive deeper and we looked across different regions around the world, we could see that APAC is actually leading the charge in terms of data democratization. They were, really exploring that they know the importance of this information, and they're trying to get this data into the hands of their analysts, into the hands of their brand marketers, because they truly realize that the insights can't live with just in one team anymore. That causes the organization to slow down, create inefficiencies, not being able to react to those consumer conversations. So it's really led by APAC, but also followed by EMEA and US very closely. So we all understand the importance of analyzing these conversations. But the problem is, when you're analyzing these conversations, it's about how do you analyze all of this data together? And there's a lot of challenges when having to bring all of these conversations to see who is your customer, what do they care about. It's the power of understanding what people are talking about, where they're saying it and why, and understanding, just not as a data point, but what does your consumer care about? Are they caring about sustainability? From what aspects are they caring about sustainability? Is it about being more environmentally friendly by reducing plastic? Is it about consuming more plant-based food items? And how do you combat the high oil content and saturated fat content that's with these new emerging brands and products? So you need to put your ear to the ground and listen to these conversations to make those decisions so you can have these personalized messaging strategies. What we're also determined from this report is that there's still a lot of manual work to be done. A lot of the respondents are saying that they're compiling different data sources together, piecing it together and correlate. I know that's one of the big frustrations from some of the customers that I'm talking to. And I think what we'll really be focusing on in 2021 is unifying those conversations to make sense of it all, so you can make those decisions and activate that voice to the customer, because it's so powerful and it really can be leveraged across so many different areas of your department when it's all together. What you're seeing from a customer care standpoint with complaints coming in about your products, that can be used as opportunities to develop more educational opportunities that can be leveraged from your sales perspective, from your product perspective. Finding out what ingredients consumers are caring about or what flavors consumers are interested can be great to be sent to your R&D team. So it's really about being able to look at that and reduce that manual effort, so it makes it easier for your teams. And here are just some strategic questions, so how you can actually keep thinking about that. I think the biggest thing that we're saying is, it's about moving beyond social listening anymore. And I think that's table stakes at this point. We are in a social listening mature market where customers know the value of listening to their customers across social. But now what it's about is it's about being able to predict consumer trends, create innovative experiences for your customers, and become more data driven, so you can collect all of this information from product reviews, the call centers, the surveys, the market research, the consumer experiences, to analyze those conversations at scale and provide that speed to insights so that you can truly make an impact and drive revenue and outcomes at your organization. I think if you take away one thing from this presentation here today, is how every voice counts. And it's so important to listen to your consumer data, but being able to take those unstructured conversations and combine it with other market and brand intelligence to really create more business intelligence that really helps answer and drive outcomes. And you really, once you have all of these conversations and unify that voice of the customer, you're allowed to activate it so that you can turn those conversations into true opportunities. And I think that's what's really exciting about what we're calling the age of conversational intelligence. Join us and provide such great insights and around what we about being more customer obsessed and activating that voice of the customer to help drive revenue and growth opportunities across the organization. Just to close out here, I highly encourage everyone to please go to the talkwalker.com website and download our State of the Conversation 2021 report. We are really excited about the insights that were uncovered, and we appreciate all of our respondents, and we appreciate everyone on this call here today. So I hope you have a wonderful